At the same time, it's not so much, because it's hard and difficult. After a while, when you look at something, it becomes very interesting. You can even like it.
A year ago, my wife and I moved from Manhattan to a house we'd rented, sight unseen, in Athens, Ohio, a small town in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
No way.
Well, I think this
Oh my God, I just saw a deer!
When we arrived, we found a cast iron stove in the backyard. Not a yard, really, more like a bricked-in ditch that gathered standing water and mosquitoes and the spiders that ate them. I couldn't imagine anyone actually using it, and I wondered what it said about where we were. It seemed improbable, like the two of us living 500 miles from the Museum of Modern Art. While we were unpacking, I placed a lampshade on its head in the hope of making my wife laugh. She'd never lived more than a train ride from a major city, and I was worried she'd find this small town suffocating, the sort of place that was suitable for a long weekend, but not a life. As the days and months went by, I left the lampshade on the stove. I might have done it out of luck, or out of laziness, but at some point I remembered that Marcel Duchamp had hung a geometry textbook out of the window, letting the wind and rain beat on it before calling it art. I eventually discovered I was wrong. Duchamp had only conceived of the idea. In 1919, he wrote it up and sent it in a letter to his sister in Paris. He instructed her to hang the book by strings from her balcony on the Rue de la Condamine and leave it there. The wind, Duchamp recalled decades later, had to go through the book, choose its own problems, turn and tear out the pages. In 1920, his sister did a painting of the book. She called it ReadyMade Malheureux, after that form, the ready-made, which Duchamp thought made it impossible to define art. It amused me, said Duchamp, to bring the idea of happy and unhappy into ready-mades, and then the rain, the wind, the pages flying. My wife and I are staying in Athens. Turns out that she loves small-town life. So I've come to think of our lampshade-wearing stove as a ready-made heureux, a happy ready-made, after Duchamp, of course, but also after that gag we resort to when we're trying to make an occasion or ourselves happier than we really are, and that every so often works.
Oh my God!
There's the town
Oh
up on
my
the
God!
hill.
Oh my God! There's the Bob Evans!
There's the Bob Evans.
And that's what the definition of a ready-made is the choice of the artist is enough to transfer it from a functional or industrial form into supposed to be aesthetic, but very different from aesthetic in general.